Greetings,
And salutations.
my ginger leak. I'm trying a wee new intro, so tell us what you think about it in the comments, will you? So, welcome back to Super Gins, my friends. We have the usual, the gruesome twosome, the Brothers of Destruction, about as realistic brothers as Undertaker and Kane, myself, Andrew Durning, and Kevin Tierney. Kevin, how you getting on, my man?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Yeah, we've managed to survive another week. And at the time of this recording, it's been absolutely scorching here in Scotland, which is rare. How have you survived?
Well, I'm no ginger, so I can survive the heat.
You would say that, but my wife is not ginger, and she's been complaining about the sun more than I have.
I think it's just everybody's been too used to the rain and the cold, and then it's like all of a sudden, it's like, what? 16 degrees? We're in double digits. What?
Yeah.
When did that happen?
It's like I sent the boys to nursery today, and the sweat that was wringing off them because they were out playing and stuff today. They had the one thing I'm glad they don't have is my ginger skin, because they had sunscreen on to start with during the day, and then they came back in and they were perfectly fine. And I know that the nursery, they're not allowed to, apply sunscreen to them. That could be a bit, Savile-esque.
Aye.
But so I'm quite glad that my boys don't take after my skin, but it's quite horrible because in this weather, you're sweaty, you're red, you're grumpy, you feel like Satan's scrotum.
Pretty much. That's how I felt walking up to get the Wayne's today.
Oh, absolute nightmare, man. Yeah, I know. And it's funny because you get people in who come here from America and Canada would come to this weather. I mean, today it was 22 degrees Celsius. And Americans would still come over here and be like, it's chilly.
Aye.
But because when we went, me and the missus went and hauled.
You get Canadians coming here in the winter when it's like -4, and they're like, this is summer. What are you talking about?
Aye, they're walking about, taps off weather.
Aye, shorts.
Yeah. It's one that when I went to Florida for my honeymoon, it was the record temperature was 35 degrees Celsius when we were there. I swear I was just a white goop with ginger hair, just floating along International Drive. I was done. I was out the game. Well, you may have guessed, Ginger League, that we don't have a guest on tonight. There is a lot of people that want to be on the show. It's just getting the timings up that just don't seem to sync or match up. So we thought, since it was the two of us, we are still going to do a super fight, but we're going to try something a little bit different. We both like the superheroes that we're going to argue for. We have to decide who we're going to argue for. So what I thought was that Kev could get a coin, and we will go by the toss of the coin to decide who is going to argue. So we'll give you the opponents. The first one, it's a battle of speedsters. So the first one's obviously is at DC's The Flash. And because we like to shake it up, we're going for the fastest blue hedgehog alive, Sonic the Hedgehog. So Kev, you have the coin right there, my friend?
Yep, I do.
Right, so we'll go heads, Sonic, tails, the Flash. You flip and I'll call.
Cool.
Right. Tails.
Tails.
Tails, so I am arguing the Flash.
Okay.
And Kev is arguing Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, I think this will be a really interesting one. I personally think this is going to be good. We've both got out the kind of a flow. We've got an idea of what to do. I've had a little bit more practice at the actual debating than I have. So I'm going to come off the bench, see if I can reignite myself.
I've also got more wins than you have as well.
That's true. I have a grand total of 0.
Yep.
Because everyone that we put to public vote for, the whole one that I done, I got trounced on social media. Absolutely trounced. But in fairness, when I couldn't even back up my own guy, we knew it was coming.
Aye.
So for anybody that's new to the channel, first of all, hit the like and subscribe button. We are, at time of this recording, 738 subscribers. We are close to hitting that 1K mark, and we've only been active at the time of this recording a month. Kev, are you surprised at that? Because God knows I am.
I'm very surprised. I've seen channels starting, and it's like it takes them at least 2 months to get to that amount.
Mm.
And the amount of views that are on the other videos, it's like sometimes it takes people like a month, 2 months to get to these views, and it's just insane.
I know it's nuts.
It's fantastic, and thanks everybody for watching.
Yeah. Well, obviously, we're really overwhelmed by the support. And when I started that Metal Ginger show, it took 3 months to get to 1,000 subscribers. What it took, I think it was 6 months to get. No, it took 4 months. Sorry, to get the view time as well. And they weren't hitting even like they were only just hitting triple digits as well. And I got told at that point that it was really good and it was really exceptional. So this is storming. It just shows that we're good at what we know. We're good at the superhero stuff, clearly. And like I say, we're awesome.
Of course.
Yeah, it works out pretty well. I chose my co-host and my apprentice wisely. So for anybody that is just tuning in, first of all, hit the like and subscribe button. And second of all, let's jump into the rules of what we are going to be debating. We take 2 superheroes from any genre, or villains if you watch the other fights, vicious villains. And we debate over 3 categories. The first one is cultural relevance, which is how they have impacted pop culture and the general zeitgeist of society. Second one is abilities, and we look at both the physical and mental abilities. That's the straight up who would win in a fight. And then the third round, which is the one that always trips people up, which I love, it's universal significance. If you took that character out of their respective world, how would it impact it as a whole? So, Kev, since you normally do the running when it comes to the arguments, who do you want to start first? What do you want me to start? Do you want you to start?
I'll let you start. I mean, the Flash has been about for a bit longer, so you can go first.
That's true. So we will start with round 1, cultural relevance. So we start with, as you said, with the Flash, and the Flash has been around for a while. He has indeed, like one of the original DC characters. So I know Superman was first. I think Batman was second.
So
I'm not sure. I think the Flash was maybe third or fourth. So I'm not sure when Wonder Woman came into the equation. But he was obviously one of the original founders, from the Golden Age, Silver Age, New 52. We don't talk about New 52 in fairness, but still, he's been around. He's been around for so long, and he's been a part of so many great, significant moments, especially in the DC universe. I mean, we've got. I mean, obviously, he is. He's been played by a few different characters as well. You've got Barry Allen, you've got Wally West. You've got, you've even got other speedsters, like the dreaded, like the Flash twins.
Yeah.
So you've had that. So you've had them as well. It's just been an ever-expanding Flash family. And one of arguably DC's best turns was initiated by the Flash, and that was the Crisis storyline.
Yep.
Where he went and stopped his mother from dying and came back, and it was essentially a post-apocalyptic world. Bruce Wayne had died, and Thomas Wayne had taken up the mantle as Batman, with his mum becoming the Joker because she went nuts at the thought of her boy dying. Which, now that we're parents, I can totally understand that. At first, when I looked at it like as a teenager, I'm like, my mum wouldn't give a shit if I croaked it. She'd be like, "A dancer, I'm free." But now I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. I do get it. It was so dark and it was so gritty, and had to basically again had to run back in time, and resolve the issue, which meant that he'd have to lose his mum again, so that the timeline would change back. He also has one of the greatest nemesis of all time, which is the Reverse Flash. It's one that is so embedded into It's like, you know, you have Batman, the Joker, you got Superman, Lex Luthor, you've got Flash and Reverse Flash. He's got other villains and anti-heroes that kind of come across his path, but the Reverse Flash is the main one, which everybody associates with. And again, some great rivalries, both in comic book form and in live action. But in particular, the Arrowverse, I would say, probably the best interpretation has been Grant Gustin's Flash. It's been so acclaimed that they have tried for a petition to get him to be the Flash in the DCEU since Ezra Miller has kind of, you know, went off the rails, to say the least.
Just a wee bit.
just a little bit. Boy, I wish it. I bet you know, they, because I've got the pronouns right, because Ezra Miller's are they, not he or she.
That's right.
So I bet they wish they had the ability to go back in time and reverse some of those decisions.
Yep.
But that has led for even more clamour for Grant Gustin to take over the role. And he's also, I think they're going into season 9 now at the time of this recording of The Flash, I think it's just
been commissioned. They have said there is a season 9 coming.
So it's officially the longest CW verse show, because Arrow finished on 8 seasons. And we also counted that he was introduced. He was introduced in the second series of Arrow as well. That was how he came into it, and it was very good. And then you obviously get the Flash, and that first season of the Flash. I mean, I think the first 3 seasons of the Flash were brilliant, just mind-blowingly good.
Aye.
First season was fantastic. Second season was good. Was really good. Like the third season started to falter a little bit, and then it's just kind of, there's been peaks and troughs kind of since then. But that's what happens with any time. It's what happens with any timey-wimey kind of Speedster thing.
That's true.
It always seems to be that kind of thing. But yeah, so he's had a massive resurgence in popularity since then as well, because obviously Grant Gustin was on Glee, Grant Gustin was a heartthrob, so ergo, like, people are going to tune in because he's good looking, and he is. I'm not going to deny it. Well, Ezra Miller sadly looks like they have walked into a bus, but that's beyond the point. So for your for Sonic the Hedgehog, the cultural relevance, let's go.
Cultural relevance is Sonic the Hedgehog. When they were making the films recently, they released the ugly Sonic, as it was called.
Oh yeah, yep. Someone who
and my God, that was terrible.
Oh,
and then they changed it, and it's like they've not really changed much. They didn't really change much.
They changed it. And fair, I think they changed quite a bit. Like, he was no longer like an anorexic warthog.
Well,
with weird, dodgy human teeth. I mean, when you're close to the same age, so were you a Nintendo or a Sega guy?
I was both. I was both. So, I had them both.
Yeah. So you played Sonic?
I did. Yeah. I played near enough every Sonic that was out. Knew all the cheats to get Super Sonic.
Definitely. Like, he's someone that I look forward to touching on, in the ability side of it, because the US version just don't do anything with him, but the UK version and their comics, oh my God, that was one of the best comic book arcs in history. Did you read Sonic comics?
I read a few of them, not as many as I could have, but I did read a few. And the story, some of them are really dark.
They were.
Some of the later ones, it's like, what is going on? But this is like 1980s Turtles.
Yeah, it was really good, and a lot of the dark storylines revolved around the Supersonic character, because they just went in a totally different direction with him. They just made them an absolute psychopath.
They did.
And it was fantastic.
When you look into the background of it, it's like, you can understand why he went a bit psycho. That's fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to piss you off.
Yeah, it was a good, in a way, it was a good allegory for mental health at the time, which was quite.
Aye.
Because if you think about like Sonic in the UK comics, for anybody that never got to see what the STC or read the STC UK versions, well, look at some of the YouTube videos about the Supersonic arc because it is deep cut. Well, if they adapted that into live action, it would be so damn good. But yeah. So you find out that Sonic's supersonic is caused by severe stress, what essentially what a threat of death or impending danger, what brings on the supersonic ability, and he becomes an indestructible psychopath, who is just like, right, I am going to destroy everybody, to just get myself out of this situation, and I don't care who I kill. I could kill Robotnik, I could kill his machines, I will kill Tails. I do not care as long as that I want to destroy and cause carnage. And it gets more and more progressive, as the story goes on, to the point where they actually have to extract Supersonic from Sonic, because anytime that he turns, if he's infused with chaos energy from the Chaos Emeralds, which he usually is, and the worst one was when he fell into the Chaos Emerald chamber and came out. And some of the artwork that was done on that Supersonic arc,
it was really good,
beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I googled it recently, because I wanted to find out a bit about it, because I'd heard the whole Supersonic hype for the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 film, spoilers, but they didn't address much in it of that type of side of him, and I was like, why is it not mentioned? Because this is something that could be really good. But it was essentially a UK exclusive.
Yeah,
because Sonic got basically got rights to be canonized in a comic, and each kind of country got do what you want with it kind of deal. So they took Supersonic, and made him an absolute indestructible badass. And it was just amazing. So he falls into this Chaos Emerald pit, comes out, he's like, right, I am going to destroy everything. I'm going to destroy everything and everyone. Because I just want to watch the world burn. He's basically, if you put Joker, Deadpool, Wolverine, and just flung them all in a blender and gave them the emotional stability of Slade Wilson. I'm talking Slade Wilson, Mirakuru style, not like Slade Wilson when he's relatively okay. I'm talking just give him all the same mental stabilities of all those characters, add in the Slade Wilson as well, and it's totally bonkers. So he just goes about just leathers into them all. They'll barely escape with their lives. And Supersonic thinks he's killed them all. Because he shoots Tails' plane, because he shoots Tails' plane down, basically just runs straight through it. Sonic snaps back and he's like, God, what have I done? I've killed my friends. So he goes into hiding. Because he doesn't want to be brought out, but he gets dragged through this kind of other dimension place where the guy basically wants him to turn into Supersonic because they want to use him as essentially a goon. So he turns into Supersonic, and Supersonic's like, you fuckers can't control me. Boom. Starts trying to shoot them up and kill them. But at this point, Tails and Amy and all them have figured out from his energy, right, he is here. Let's go and let's zap this fucker. So they zap it, and it basically winds up, separating the two. And you've then got a Sonic and you've got Supersonic. And that, I always liked that kind of premise of seeing two characters from each of the same person. Like when they did Angel Angelus and there was a fight going on in his mind. I always loved seeing stuff like that. So getting to see that was that was my nerd fan. I loved it. And then he gets trapped and he basically gets frozen in time. Because it's the only way they can stop him. But it turns out he hasn't actually frozen. He's just moving very, very slowly. But he's aware of everything that's going on, and his power's just building and building and building. And breaks out of this kind of time freeze and is like, right, I am going to destroy the world. And they have to, and essentially, basically, they have to give him amnesia. They have to knock him on his ass and give him amnesia, to forget who he is. So he won't go nuts. And he stumbles off, and you get a good a good supersonic, which is quite an interesting concept, like because he's got no memory of who he is. Like kind of he winds up working in a fucking coffee shop, which is so random. It's so random. It's unreal. But and it's this kind of psychic who's like, I don't know. There's something about you that isn't right, kind of deal. And does essentially mind melds Supersonic. And sees all because Supersonic's having nightmares of all like these demons and all this kind of stuff, but it's actually memories of his past returning. So he gets reminded of this. And you think that he's okay. And he's like, I'm all right. But the second he gets his memory back, it's like, right, and he blows up the world. As you do. But it's all in his head because they figured this out and managed to kind of freeze him. And stop him from doing it. And they just let him erase his memory again. But the best part of that arc was it wound up being the last kind of episodes arc, just the way it worked out where they stopped doing the comics. But Supersonic was dying. Because he needs chaos energy to live. And because he doesn't have that, it accelerates his aging process, so he was dying. And everybody thought that Supersonic was already gone or was already dead. And then they're fighting this big, massive like blob fucker. I cannot remember the name of him, but it's essentially the same deal. This blob thing is like absorbing all the chaos energy, cannot be stopped. Supersonic turns up in his battered state, and Sonic's like, "What the are you doing here?" And they're like, he's different. He's not the same person. Blah blah blah. And they're like, don't trust him as far as I can throw him. So Supersonic sacrifices himself. And goes straight for this chaos thing. And basically absorbs all its energy. Kind of reverts it back to essentially just looks like the fish from The Simpsons. By the end of it, but Supersonic survives it and gets his memories back from that, and is like, right, I'm going to kill you all. To the point where the psychic friend that they had grabs Supersonic and Sonic and tries to kind of wipe Supersonic out, but she wipes Sonic out. And he's like, "Oh, like you wiped out the wrong Sonic." And she went, "No, I didn't," because she fused them back together. And you just see him like slowly growing old and kind of reverting back to Supersonic. From Supersonic to Sonic. And they're all like, "Well, what if Supersonic returns again?" And he's like, "Well, we'll have to just deal with that when it comes." But you never find out if they do get to deal with it, because then they stop commissioning the series. So yeah, I know I've kind of argued the point of Sonic for you, but it's more for Supersonic for me, because I fucking love Supersonic in the UK version. Absolutely amazing. But one of the things that you did touch on, Sonic is probably one of the only live action video game franchises that's actually done well. I mean, you had Street Fighter for the it's so bad it's good.
It was just cheese. Street Fighter, really.
Yep. You
had Jean-Claude Van Damme kicking folk.
Yeah, he was meant.
You had Raul Julia as oh god, I've got his name. Bison. That's it. And it's like, what more do you need?
Took that role on while he was dying of cancer. Done it for his kids, which was absolutely amazing. You got Jean-Claude Van Damme, the most non-American American in the world, as Guile.
I know.
But you had Kylie Minogue for some reason
as Cammy, another American.
Yeah,
with an Australian accent.
You had Ming-Na Wen as Chung-Li, and that's actually really good casting.
It was. I really like her. She was really good.
Oh, she's fantastic. Like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., she's now in The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and Star Wars stuff. Like she was Mulan as well. In the animated Mulan. She is basically like a Disney lifetime member.
Aye.
She's absolutely amazing. It's just fantastic. And then I cannot remember who played Zangief, but he was funny as anything.
He was good. Aye.
The bit that always sticks in my mind is when they're watching on the monitor this truck heading for their bar. It's going to crash into it, and he goes, "Quick, change the channel!" And I don't know who it was. Just this.
It's the way that they turn and look at him.
Yeah,
it's
they're like,
what?
because it was the. I cannot remember. It was a black. It was a black guy. I think he was meant to be like Balrog, like the boxer.
Aye.
I think he was meant to be that, but also didn't look anything like him.
No,
from the game. But he just turns around and he's like, what? And then as they're leaving, he's like, and Balrog's like, I'm out. And he's like, what? He's like, well, what? He's like, why did you do it in the first place? He's like, because he paid me, you moron. He's like, you got paid? And I'm like, it was just beautiful casting for Zangief. Like, it was not his character, but fan, just absolutely brilliant in the way he played it. He committed. He committed to that part.
He did.
So that's one that it's so bad that it's good. It's something that you watch and you remember the nostalgia of Raul Julia and all that kind of stuff. Mortal Kombat 1994. Again,
I love that. I loved it.
Just completely unstable, insane.
Oh,
nothing really to do with any of the plot of the games, but just totally nuts. And then you have Annihilation, which totally shat on it.
It did.
It totally shat on the legacy of it.
And then they done a series.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat as well.
Yeah.
That was actually not that bad.
Yeah, and then they
that bad.
And then they rebooted it in, I think it was 2021.
Aye.
Did a reboot movie, and again, critics said it was not the worst. And I'm like, well,
what could you say?
What else could they say? What and yeah, the Super Mario one. Oh my god.
Oh god. Bob Hoskins is Mario, and John Leguizamo is Luigi Mario. And what more do you need? What more do you need?
It was the stuff of nightmares, man.
It was.
Well, the fact that like Bob Hoskins went from Who Framed Roger Rabbit to that.
I know.
Oh my goodness, it was horrible. And then you've had the Resident Evil franchise, which commercially
very successful.
It's very successful. But in terms of like movie quality,
I think I'd say there's like 4, maybe. 3 or 4 are watchable.
You're pushing.
I'm pushing a bit.
Yeah, definitely.
I've still not seen Welcome to Raccoon City.
Nah, neither have I. I've heard that's got
really good.
I've heard it's god awful, actually. Yeah, that could be an interesting one. We can see if we can get someone on here to tell us about it and give an informal opinion. What's Raccoon City like? But yeah, there was the fact that I think because the Resident Evil films had very, very loose tie-ins to the games.
Yeah,
like extremely loose. Well, but essentially they got to play in their own ballpark. That's probably why and it gave Mila Jovovich work for 8 films, so she was grateful for that.
It didn't help that her husband was directing them all, so
well, that was a good thing all round, basically. Well, so we had that, and then it was just right. And so that's statistically is the most successful. So we have
you've had the Tomb Raider films as well.
Yeah,
there's been 3 of them now. 2 with Angelina Jolie and the other one. I've not seen that one.
Yeah, that other one.
That's all. Angelina Jolie actually really good.
What I liked about it was Chris Barry was in it, who plays Rimmer in Red Dwarf. Yeah, that's just beautiful casting. Anything that sees Chris Barry get work is just that's all right for me. That is okay for me if it sees them get work. So, but like I said, we've had all these kind of the video game adaptations, and people have been like, "Oh, well, well, are we ever going to get a good one?" And then Sonic came along.
And it's the fact that it's been so long since any Sonic thing. It was like out of the blue. It's like there was a game every now and again. The cartoons basically all but stopped. It's just reruns, no comics, and then all of a sudden, we're doing a film of Sonic, and it's like, what? Yeah. And then the biggest movie of the year. Yeah. And then the second one again, when that came out, biggest movie of the year. It's like there's obviously still a fan base for it after all that amount of time.
Yeah, I mean the games are still going.
Very relevant. Yeah, the games are still going.
Well, there was a Sonic Boom animated series, like a CGI series, which fans are kind of love to hate on it. But they don't like the way Knuckles' character is interpreted because he's basically he's like a bro. He's like, bro, I'm so dumb, bro. Yeah, watch me lift weights and kill people. Yeah, that kind of way. Well, whereas obviously we know from like comics and the games that he's a lot more complicated than that. But because they just
really intelligent as well.
Yeah, because he kind of existed in his own little world. They were like, okay, we'll just kind of let that slide. Well, so that's got kind of love-hate relationship. Well, and then as you mentioned, the trailer dropped, and we were like, what the actual is that horrible thing? And surprisingly, a studio listened. Well, and said, okay, we'll do the redesign, but it's going to delay it coming out. And they were like, okay,
fine,
that's fine, that's good. If you build it, we will come. And they did, and they did.
They did,
yeah. And then I also like the fact that they got the original Tails voiceover actress to come back and voice Tails. For the sequel after like the wee cameo at the end of the first one. And I don't know who had the idea of Idris Elba as Knuckles, but by God, that was inspired casting. Oh man, that is just that's immense. Well,
Idris Elba is one of these people though that he gets the role and he just runs with it. Anything he touches is gold, basically. I mean, he does everything. He decided, I'm going to go train to be a boxer, but I'll film it and show everybody. And then he trained to be a boxer, and he won like the first 3 fights that he done. And then he's like, I'm going to retire.
Fair dues, man. Fair dues to him.
Aye.
Like only he could do like a line. He could be a villain in a Fast and Furious spin-off movie and still steal the show. And he's up against The Rock and Jason Statham. And their chemistry is on point.
Jason Statham as well. He's somebody that you can't steal for. And Idris Elba came in and thought, it's my show now.
Yeah. It's the fact he came in like the Black Superman line was totally off the cuff because they originally had it as Black James Bond. But because there was the rumors of him replacing Daniel Craig at the time, he didn't want to fuel those rumors, so he asked if he could change it to Black Superman. And they did. And if they hadn't done that, then The Rock wouldn't have had the most epic line when they were fighting, going, "Here comes the kryptonite, rock bottom." So yeah, I'm grateful to Idris Elba for that, and more grateful now that he voiced one of my favorite characters, Knuckles. Just beautiful casting. And Jim Carrey's Dr. Robotnik, no one expected that to work, and man, it has worked.
When I heard, I was like, he's just going to be Jim Carrey. He's just going to be Jim Carrey, and it's not going to work. But it was just Jim Carrey. It can't not be.
Essentially.
But it actually worked really well.
Yeah. For the type of movies that they were going for, it really worked. And what surprised me more was the sequel, because he didn't double down on the Jim Carreyness. He doubled down on the Robotnik side of it.
He did.
The more evil kind of side of it. And that really, really worked. So much so that like he's announced his retirement. Like at the time of this recording, he said that he has enough, and he's kind of had enough. And respect his decision, but at the same time, I don't respect his decision because we need a third fucking movie with him.
He hasn't said that he wouldn't do one. He's just saying that he's slowing down. He just wants to sit in his house and paint. And to be fair, he's been working consistently, really, since like 1990.
Yeah,
he's going non-stop essentially. And he's only ever done like one sequel.
Yeah.
No, two, because Dumb and Dumber 2.
No,
Ace Ventura.
Dumb and Dumber, Ace Ventura, and now Sonic.
And Sonic. So he's only done 3 sequels. And it's like, wow. When you think about that, the amount of films he's been in, it's like he's only done 3 sequels. There's only been 3 sequels to the films because he's like, I don't want to do it unless the script is spot on.
Yeah, definitely. Well, and you look at it, and that's why everybody is like, come on, make this the trilogy. It's like, make this the trilogy. This will be your swan song. And then you can ride off into the sunset.
Yeah.
I think most fans would be okay with that.
Yep.
Right. We went on some mad tangents, but I think it's because we're both fans of each of the characters. We're not denying it. We said before we came on air, loyal fans, yous will be deciding who wins out of these arguments. So I am not going to judge or score any of these because I think for this should be entirely an entirely fans' perspective of right. This is up to you. What do you think?
Yep, totally.
So what I think we should do is we should call round one, and we'll just move on to the next round, which is abilities. This is where we assess both the physical and mental capabilities of our chosen superheroes and see who could win in an out-and-out brawl between Sonic and the Flash. Now, I think I maybe accidentally gave you your Nick Cage moment in the earlier round because we went into the supersonic kind of category, and if he goes into supersonic mode, he is virtually indestructible.
Yep.
And yeah. And you're looking at that from that kind of side. If you don't know like it's like I said, you'd read a few of the comics, but you hadn't read like all of them. Because I'd read the majority of them. So I already knew like Sonic could go down. It's like Sonic himself, like as just like blue, it's just like the blue meanie, like the wee kind of blue speedster. If it was just Flash and just Sonic, I think Flash would have more in his arsenal because he could always time travel back and then go back and kick his ass.
Yep.
But if he still has the supersonic element in him, it's a totally different ball game. And you know that and in both live action and canon and games and comics, he does still have the supersonic from the chaos energy about him, so he can still kick a lot of ass.
He can. Yep.
So yeah, but the way I would probably see with Barry is that he just really, his physical side is good, but it's his mental side that is always so underrated. Is that because because he's like he's an experimental physicist, isn't he? And he's pretty damn smart. Knows a lot of that kind of stuff, but and everybody just assumes Flash, he runs fast, like can hit people really quickly. And yes, he can, but there's an intelligence to him that never gets fully tapped into, and that's something that I think the CW show in particular has really let him down.
Yeah.
At the start, you knew that he was clever, and you knew about his his forensics job and how smart he was, and then he gets the powers, and all of a sudden it's like, just run a lot.
Yeah.
Keep on running, and then you'll run some more, and then you keep on running again.
Because it's not until later series that they go into his hyper intelligence where he can read a book and he keeps that whatever he's read for like an hour or two in his head, so he could read like 1,000 books in like 20 seconds, and he's got all that in his head, and he can use that practically as well.
Yeah, definitely. And that's where I think Sonic would falter in the mental capacity, because he's 90s surfer bro and a hedgehog.
Pretty much.
He's just like, right, he was like, hey, I'm gonna make a couple of nice quips at you while I'm just hitting you with a blue kind of bolt and straight to the gut. He's like, I'll just be very quippy and yay. And we're like, okay, but the only thing you really have is your speed. It's one thing to have speed, but it's another how to use it. And one of the infamous lines for Sonic 2 was, okay, first step, I run at him. Second step, I have no idea. That's basically Sonic in a nutshell. Run fast, and jump on people.
Yep. Run, jump. What more do I need to do?
Yeah, run and jump. That's how you know he's a Mega Drive character.
Aye.
Run and jump. That is it. It is. And yeah, he gets very easily defeated by water. That's a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I always did like when you were in the underwater levels, that you would just have what the wee machines that would just pop out the bubbles and be like to get his like kind of oxygen bit. But was there
and
anything?
the music countdown, as you're going to die. It's like, oh, quick! I need to get to that bubble. I can see it. I can see it.
Well,
yeah,
it didn't make it. Didn't make it. Did that ever give you like a PTSD hearing that music? Yeah.
It's like if in the 70s people were hearing like sharks playing cellos when they were getting into the water. We're getting into water, we're hearing the Sonic music going, I'm going to drown. Nah, I need to swim the water.
Yep, definitely. Well, it was like they were preparing us for Tamagotchis.
Oh god, aye.
Like, look after this character or he's gonna die. Yep. Then you got Tamagotchis. They put a lot of pressure on us to not kill things as kids in our generation. What?
So, here's a character. Get him to the end of this level with it dying. What?
It's like we'll give you 3 strikes, potentially 4 if you get 100 rings. But sure, we kidding. We all wanted to get to the 50 rings to turn him into Supersonic.
Yep.
Again, because he kicked ass. Yeah. And he was indestructible because you could just go right, hit, because he was always going left to right for anybody that was watching. I was for my screen, I had to go that way. But yeah, so you would just hit the right part of the controller and just go. Yep. Occasionally hit A to jump. That was all you need to do as Supersonic to get to the end. Just make sure that your rings were topped up. That sounds so wrong, but you know what I mean.
Top up your ring.
Yeah, top up your ring. But that's all you need to do as Supersonic just to get to the end of a level. Just make sure you knew when to jump and knew when to hit that run button. You were good.
Yep.
It was sold and it was sorted. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Because it was the easiest part of the games. What? Did you ever do on Sonic 3? Did you know the cheats like when it was in the intro music? What? And then it would kind of hear this wee kind of tone and it would give you unlimited rings so you could turn it to Supersonic whenever you wanted.
Aye. Yeah.
Loved that. But I could never get it like that quick because you always had to be like super quick. It was like up, up, down, down, up, 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 down, down, up, up, or whatever it was. It was something like that. I used to do it during that. So it was literally like 3 seconds, and it was like a massive test of hand-eye coordination. Well, because I would try and do it, and I wouldn't be able to do it, and I would try again, and I would get really, really frustrated. My brother would be like, "We doing, Bobo?" I'm like, "No fucking Bobo." I'm like, can I get this cheat? He's like, "He's it here." Done. There you go. Fuck you, man. Oh, it was unreal. Yeah. Well, and was it just me or the Tails? Like, in Sonic 2, I felt he was always the liability. I felt he wound up getting me killed more than anything else.
See, the thing is,
like, maybe less in Sonic 2, but more in Sonic 3.
More in Sonic 3. In Sonic 2, he was essentially invincible. Because he would never die unless Sonic died. So
that's true.
What I done an experiment. I stood next to some spikes, right at the edge here. And then Tails would just fly down, land on the spikes, and he would just keep bouncing on the spike as if he was dying. And then he'd jump. Eventually, he'd come off to the other side. Yeah. And then he'd jump back. Because I'm standing here, he'd go onto the spikes. I sat there for 10 minutes watching this. I'm like, he's not dying. How can I not just go as Tails? Fly me at the end of the level?
I know. That was it. And then you would go as Tails, and you'd be dead. Straight away. Straight away. It was like in Sonic 3, like I would always like if I got bored, I would try and intentionally like do things to make Tails die. Like I would jump and make sure that it was just enough for Sonic to clear it, but not Tails. And he would die, and he'd just see him hovering down, just to land next to him. They're like, "I'm here. Hey, right, I'm gonna kill you again. Let's figure out how this time." Well, and then I'm like, "Crap, this is a flying level. Tails, I need you." Oh wait, I killed him. And that was that. You were screwed. You were totally done. But something I just realized there, like, the Superman symbol actually looks like Chaos Emerald.
It does a bit, aye.
There we go. So DC has had an impact on Sonic probably after all. He's breathing Emerald.
There we go.
There we are. It's not a Nick Cage moment, but it's just a good observation. I've been good observation moments.
Yep.
I'll say that. That works out well for me. Yeah. Well, like I say, abilities wise, I mean, they've got a lot, and physical abilities, they're a relatively even skill set. They can both run really fast.
I think when Sonic's just regular Sonic, I think Flash has the upper hand with speed.
But he has more like he's more like in tune with the speed force. Like he's he knows how to throw a punch.
Aye.
Well, effectively.
I think Sonic's fastest speed is like the speed of sound. Is what he can do just when he's normal Sonic.
And
obviously the Flash can go a lot faster than that.
Yeah, he can.
He can
break
go fast
time.
enough to, Whereas Sonic can't do that. Well, not yet anyway. Not in canon.
Not in canon, as far as we know. If there is anything about it, let us know in the comments.
But if you take into consideration Supersonic, there is no upper limits to his speed.
Yeah,
it's only showed him going a certain speed.
Yeah,
but
and
there is no upper level. There is nothing to stop him. He can just keep going unless you depower him, obviously.
Yeah, and also in the comics, Supersonic can breathe in space.
Yep, that's right.
He can breathe in space. What he can breathe there, because like in that art I told you about, when he regains his memory and thinks he's like blown up the world, he basically flies into space, grabs a moon and just fucks the moon at the planet and just crushes it, because his original plan is like destroy the ozone layer, like essentially like destroy the ozone layer, die global warming, and he goes, no, that's too slow.
No quick enough. I'll chuck a moon down. There we go.
No quick enough. There's the moon. Whoop. I mean, we have to clarify that it isn't actually Earth that they're on, it's Mobius, but it's essentially Mobius is a parody in the comics of Earth. It's just anthropomorphized, creatures. But same deal, yeah. Well, he just went, right, I'll just get a moon. Kablooey. Well, and
I think throwing a moon at the Earth at your planet, I think that's a Nick Cage moment. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I gave you 2 Nick Cage moments with the supersonic stuff.
Aye.
Why did it not land in my favor? Because I know so much more about Sonic than I do about the Flash. I know that, I know the surface level for the Flash. Well, I know the same as kind of most people do, but I'm not as well versed on the comics or as well versed on different issues or all this kind of stuff. I know enough about them to get me through a conversation. But with Sonic,
talk about the Flash's upper speed. In one of the comics, he rescued a city before a nuclear blast. He saved over 1 million people in 0.86 seconds. So essentially, he had to run 500 miles away from this blast 1 million times, and he done this in 0.86 seconds and saved all of them. So
there you go.
That's getting to supersonic level.
That's pretty damn good. Gotta say, man, we really screwed up the heads tails, didn't we? We really screwed.
It's the way it went. I know more about Flash, you know more about Sonic, but that's the way it happened.
Man, the luck of the draw was not kind to us. It really wasn't. It's because if I'd stuck with Sonic, I think I would be doing pretty well. But I'm arguing for the Flash, so I'm just burying myself. I'm like, it's like that meme going around when it was like Oliver's tombstone and just Grant Gustin like that. But just like that to the camera. That's basically me crushing my own arguments.
Pretty much.
Well, I said it's Supersonic just with the one finger, because I don't think he would do the two. I don't think Supersonic would do the 2 fingers. I think that's too polite for him. I think he would have to be I think he would be like a Steve Austin, like 1 finger salute kind of guy.
Totally.
Definitely. Well, I always loved in the comics, in the Sonic comics, because there actually was a death.
Oh.
In the comics, Johnny Lightfoot, the rabbit, he died.
Oh.
And it was in a fight, and basically this villain was essentially mind controlling all of them, and they couldn't really kind of. And it was like if they didn't like follow, they couldn't follow anything else but this one's rule. But Johnny was kind of managing to break that control, and sacrificed himself to save Sonic. But he basically he got from this villain, just got punched straight in the chest. And yeah, that was that, like, dead. Because like they all kind of snapped out of it, and they're like, everybody okay, where's Johnny? And Amy's just like holding him, like, he's dead. And so I was like, no, he's fine, he's all right, everything's all right, like he's just sleeping, that's all. And they're like, no, he's gone, he's dead. And it sends Sonic in like a total like depression spiral, and it was like a really hard hitting storyline, because I was like, man, like, because how like Sonic had eventually had like the green eyes as it kind of went on in the comics. What they done with that was that he basically, like, because Supersonic wasn't there anymore, like he essentially OD'd on chaos energy, and the chaos energy turned his eyes green, but it also made him a little manic. Not like Supersonic level manic, but just like enough where he wasn't totally in control sometimes of his actions. Essentially like a drug addiction. It was essentially chaos energy addiction. And it was a bit that kind of deal. So that's how his eyes turned green as well. Because I always remember thinking it was Sonic that killed him, because he had this whole green eye thing. And then I looked back in the issues and I'm like, wait, no, it wasn't. It was just at that time. And I always remember the final shot, the final still of the comics after the Supersonic art was just like them, like, kind of looking into, that cool kind of into the middle distance kind of thing. And Johnny Lightfoot's head up in the clouds, watching down from heaven. And I was like, guys, honestly, you didn't need that emotional punch for it's meant to be for kids, but man, Hedgehog comic. Basically a fast hedgehog. And that was it's like,
hedgehogs are fast though. Hedgehogs are really fast and annoying.
Yes, don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. They are fucking evil.
We used to keep some as pets, the African ones.
All right.
Are wee shits, man. They literally walk as they shit.
Nice. That's got to be a deleted scene in the Sonic movies. Just like
running with turds coming out.
Super fast turds just hitting Robotnik, like, whoa, man.
Because you see like the hamster wheels, you get bigger ones, and you see they would run in them all night, and the amount of shit that get caked into these things because they just run and shit.
Oh my!
And there was one of them, and he'd actually just put his arse against the edge of the cage and just go.
Oh, fantastic!
We called them shit rainbows because it was like a rainbow shape, but just with shit, and they're stinking as well.
Oh my god! Oh, that's absolutely amazing. Oh, jeez, that is nuts. Again, that's got to be in one of the Sonic, like either the bloopers or the third one. It's got to be in there, like, because they're obviously teasing the Shadow Sonic, which essentially is America's version of our UK Supersonic, which is the more recognized canon one. I'd just love to see that. If I get Shadow, he's just like, right, dodge this, and that's it. Just base plant right there. That would be an interesting one. I would love to see that. It would be fantastic. But yeah, I would safely say that we're kind of digging each other's graves when it comes to who we're arguing. I was like, because I know so much about Sonic, you know so much about the Flash, and it's like, man, we're just bombing out here. But we'll just keep. But again, it's up to the audience to decide. And it could be it could be a bit of a reversal. Just be like, right, Kev, like, Kev's technically won because Andrew argued all his points for him, or like Andrew won because Kev argued all the points for him. So that's up to you guys to decide who's doing the better arguments, just for their own characters.
Essentially, they're just saying which character won.
You've got
all the arguments. So I mean, we can both put an argument for each character. So
That's true.
We
Well,
bit of a different
yeah.
way of doing it.
Well, it's a night where it's just us, my friends. So it's an anything can happen kind of episode.
It is. It is.
But we've been playing for the randomness, and the randomness has been working. I think.
Usually does.
It always does, yeah. Well, when we have the guests, they're more structured. When it's just us, it's just balls on a wall. Who cares?
It is.
Or as we'll now call it, the shit rainbow.
Yep.
So we'll do a quick kind of dive in this one of the universal significance. And that is basically if we took their selected character out of their respective worlds, how would it cope without them? Well, and kind of the reason for it, for anybody that wants to know, is that I've always had this kind of thing of, if you take a character out of something, it doesn't necessarily mean that entire franchise is going to suffer and it's going to fall. But there is obviously ways around it where it could be, if you take, for example, taking Superman out, what basically was just stopped all superheroes in its tracks because he was the OG. Or the infamous Nick Cage moment, which was, Ghost Rider, Deadpool,
yep.
Well, and I'm like, yeah, there we go. So it's always intrigued me with that. So in terms of the Flash, I actually think you could take him out and DC would be relatively okay. Well, I would say
probably.
Well, I think don't get me wrong, like the one that I think would be, the null and void would be Aquaman.
Aye.
But he's just the one that you're like, okay, you're gone, and nothing really changes. Just puts Jason Momoa out of a job.
Unless they bring back Stargate Atlantis, which there was talks about.
I know.
There was big talks about that like 2-3 years ago. And they were really talking about it. And he said that if they were going to do it, he would happily come back. He loved making it.
Yeah.
And he says that he doesn't care that it'll go back to TV. He's like, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah. And it's not like he's not done TV since he's got big. I mean, Game of Thrones.
Well, he started off with TV. It was Baywatch that he started on, really.
I know, because I remember seeing that meme. It was like, starts off as a lifeguard and then working in Atlantis to being king of Atlantis.
Aye.
Well, and I was just like, that is such career symmetry.
It is. Much like water.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, don't get me wrong, I never was the biggest fan of Jason Momoa in Atlantis. Well, I mean, I liked
it wasn't played out enough. They didn't use him the way that they could have.
Yeah, they tried to make him like a moodier Teal'c. It just didn't work.
No.
But in fairness, one of the best episodes that Atlantis had was when Teal'c came on it and was trying to basically, get Ronan to not be a dick.
Aye.
What to get so they wouldn't be like, right.
He succeeded because it's Teal'c.
Yeah, of course. But only after they had like an hour-long fight.
Yeah.
And then and everybody's like crowded around them, like rooting them on because there's like they're so invested. They've all got bets on them. And this is also when Samantha Carter was running things. So she breaks up the fight and she's like, right, we'll call it a draw. And like everybody's gutted. But John Shepherd had a draw, so he gets the money. And I was like, that is a baller move. Like everybody's just like, I'm just gonna call a draw because I cannot see who would get the upper hand in this. And that's how it worked out. But yeah, and again, it just always seemed like I never felt like Jason Momoa was used his potential. I always felt like it was kind of, just keep him in his little kind of moody box and don't really be anything more than moody box. You had like a couple of things where, like, where like him and Rodney were both going after the female doctor, the one that replaced Carson. It was like kind of made the best man win, and why she would choose McKay over him? Honestly, you got to be nuts.
I was just going to say that. And the way that ended, it's like, what?
could not believe that for the life of me.
Really, that's where you're going with it. Really,
I was like, you have a male Adonis right there, and you choose Rodney McKay. Nothing against David Hewlett as an actor. Like, he seems very charming.
He's really good. He's really good. I've seen him in quite a few things. He's really good.
But, yeah, he was in the first Planet of the Apes movie as well.
Yes, he was.
He was the first Contagion.
Mm-hmm.
With the ape virusy thing that they never really went anywhere.
Yeah,
but he was still in it.
Yeah,
but he was still in it, and he was still good. Well, and like I've seen, like I follow him like in social media and stuff like that as well. And it's like, yeah, he just seems like such a nice guy. Mm-hmm. But it's just genetically you put them together. It was like, okay, even I would shag Ronan. Like, yeah, man. I know they were trying to play the whole, you know, brains over beauty. That's what she was attracted to. And when like McKay had the amnesia and was losing his memory and thought he was dying and stuff, he kind of just, you know, was declared that he was like, you know, madly in love with her, and that kind of swung it. Mm-hmm. Which I was like, fair dues. The way they did it makes sense. But any casual onlooker would have seen that, because I saw the finale of Atlantis before I'd caught up in series 3 and 4. Because it was on, I think it was on Channel 4 at the time. They'd done the first 2 series. And never really heard anything about it. And then by the time I got Sky, it was the last episode, and I'm like, all right, well, I'll watch it and see. And I was like, all right. I was like, wait, how the fuck did McKay get here? I was like, how the fuck did McKay get a girl? And I was like, how did this happen? Last episode I saw, like, he blew up a planet. Well, and then so I got the DVDs, and then that obviously filled in the gaps. I was like, okay, now I get it. Now I get how the story progressed. But anyway, just coming in there and be like, no, just no.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but no, I think Jason Momoa was done a great, not a great disservice, because he's obviously said that he enjoyed his time on it and stuff like that. I just think there was a lot of things about that Atlantis show that was some poor decisions were made.
Yeah,
like the whole thing with Ford, like the guy who's in the first series and then replaced by Jason Momoa.
Yes.
Well, that storyline had a lot more potential than they gave it. The whole thing with how they handled the actress who played Elizabeth Weir, they shat the bed with that one completely. What? Because it was basically a case of like they had this arc planned for her, but it's the scheduled good night to the family. Mm-hmm. Night to Kevin's family. It's like a wee ritual. I'm like, okay, we know we're getting close to time up, because we always get that little ritual. But yeah, but you know what I mean, like, because they were going to have this whole kind of arc with her being, you know, a leader of this like kind of splinter replicator cell. Mm-hmm. But she would have been bumped down to basically guest starring, and she was like, no,
I don't want that.
Don't want that. Offski. What? But we got you know, Amanda Tapping back. What, you know, Carter for that series, and she was brilliant. And then she decides she doesn't want to come back. What? And they have to get blooming Robert Picardo. What?
Who's always good.
He's always good. What? And and in that last season, and first, he did well, but it was like there was so much juggling with with cast and stuff. You were like, okay,
who's here now?
I was like, where are they dropping the ball this time? Well, where's the ball? Where's the ball getting dropped here? So the fact that they were able to make 5 successful seasons, and they kind of got to go out on their own terms in that sense, where they got to wrap up, and a lot of shows don't get that. Fair dues. But again, I think a movie would have been a nice way to wrap up, kind of like what they've done with Stargate SG-1. Like the first movie, not the second, not the continuum. I didn't need another time travel plot.
No. We've had enough of them.
With too many of them. I didn't want to see Daniel Jackson dying again.
I know.
Yeah.
We've already seen it about 3 or 4 times.
Definitely. and that was per season.
Yes.
At one point, and we were just like, come on, like, how many times has he got to die? Is it like in his contract now?
Was it like season 4? He died like 8 times or something.
Something like that. Well, and then they kill him. Then they kill him off for good in series 5 because Michael Shanks decided to leave. Well, and then realized, crap, I ain't getting any work. Can I come back? They got him back.
Okay.
They got him back, and then it was like, okay, he's back. Fair dues. But yeah, if he hadn't left, he wouldn't have met Lexa Doig because they met on Andromeda, and that's who.
That's true.
And that's who he married. So, in fairness, good career break.
I found his wife.
Yeah, in that sense, it worked out well for him. In the acting sense, not so much. Yeah, we went on a massive tangent. Massive tangent. But I think the long story short of it is, like, the Flash, you could take him out, and I think you could probably get by. There wouldn't be as much time. There wouldn't be as much time travel and fucking up the timelines, which is always which is a good thing for my brain because I like kind of that linear consistency, as I've mentioned in multiverse episodes and stuff like that. I'm like, no, I need a bit more kind of clarity and straightforwardness. So you'd have less of that, which is a massive point. But you take Sonic out of his world, Robotnik basically wins.
There's nobody that can really go up against them. I mean, who have you got then? Tails, Knuckles. Knuckles maybe could, but
Knuckles could take him to an extent, but as Knuckles is shown, he's extremely manipulative, or is easily manipulated because Robotnik is very manipulative. That's what I was trying to say.
So without Sonic,
because in games and in comics, and multiple games and comic arcs, Knuckles has been swayed to turn back to Robotnik because he's been able to convince him that Sonic's up to no good. And he just falls for it, and you're like, okay, so it's a film me one, shame on you kind of thing. Whereas Sonic is really the only one that's wise enough to combat his bullshit.
And
so
again, without Sonic in that universe, you've just got an evil dictator running the place, turning everybody into mad robots.
Essentially, yeah. And just like putting all these it's quite a daunting universe to think of. Like they take wee tiny baby animals,
stick them in
machines, and basically essentially those are the heart of all these killing machines. You've got no choice over it. Essentially, they predicted the Matrix.
Pretty much, yeah.
Because those animals are just basically a battery for these machines to carry out chaos.
So now we know what the Wachowskis were doing when they were making the Matrix. They were playing Sonic and going, "That's it. That's what we're doing.
That's it.
People are batteries.
We change a couple of things here and there. Bang! We got ourselves a movie.
It's not cute wee animals. It's Keanu Reeves
and tiny babies.
Tiny babies.
Yep. So there we go. That's it. That's essentially what would happen, my friends. And that's why we need another Sonic movie.
Yeah.
I would just love to see one where it was like, he runs so fast that he does break through the time barrier and kind of wipes himself out. And it is just like a whole, it's like a total dystopian wasteland. And just like Knuckles is just as Robotnik's henchman because he's constantly manipulated. There's no one that can kind of sway him around to the good side. Tails is deed because it's Tails. He has to be deed.
I mean, you could have it where if Sonic wasn't there, then like Tails is like the leader of a rebellion against Robotnik. Knuckles is his general, but they never really get anywhere. It's just sort of like even. There's nobody to actually beat Robotnik.
Yeah, just kind of
better every time, and then Robotnik beats them, and then they get a bit better, and then just beats them again.
That's true.
It's a never-ending circle.
True. So I think that could be an interesting one. This could be a Sonic 3 movie. I think this could be done. Let's make this happen. But I know. I mean, I meant to be arguing for the Flash, but I think because there's so many heroes in that universe. Yes, some are more critical than others, but you could take someone like the Flash out, who's not exactly he's not like the starring guy. He's not like the Superman or Batman. It's just like just a little bit below, kind of like the Wonder Woman, Flash, Green Lantern kind of style. You could take them out, and it would have an impact, but it wouldn't be as detrimental as just if you took out someone else.
Aye, because if you take one of those three, they've not been as integral to the whole superhero genre as much as Batman and Superman have. Essentially, Batman and Superman could really hold the DC universe.
Yeah, on their own.
And be able to take out all of the other ones, bad guys, quite easily.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing that I would really miss if the Flash was gone was Reverse Flash.
Well, if there wasn't any Flash, there would be no Reverse Flash, because it's essentially the Flash made the Reverse Flash.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
And vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that would be the thing I would be most gutted about if you took the Flash out of it, because there would be no Reverse Flash, and he is such a good villain.
He is.
Well, he is top tier. Like, I think it's like I said, Batman and Superman are top tier when it comes to like the heroes. Top tier for the villains in DC, in my own opinion, is Reverse Flash and Joker.
I mean, the Reverse Flash essentially stopped time so that he wouldn't die. He had a bullet hole through his head. And he didn't die because he was moving so fast that he wouldn't die, which was draining him. So he was doing everything he could to kill Flash before he died. He wanted it to be, he would see Flash dying and then he could die.
Yeah.
Essentially. So essentially, he stopped himself from dying just out of pure pride to kill the Flash. So I'm not dying yet. I've been shot through the brain, but I am not dying yet.
I mean, it's like, it's quite bad when the only argument for not getting rid of the Flash out of the universe is the villains. But it's not just like, because if you think about it, you got Reverse Flash, you get Zoom, you get Saboteur, well, you've got Godspeed, you've got Black Flash, which is essentially the Flash version of the Grim Reaper. You get Time Shadows. So you've got all these kind of like Speedster related villains that are so good. Like that, if you took the Flash out, you're not bored about losing the Flash, you're bored about losing all those villains.
Aye.
Well, and you'd also lose other ones, like, because if they went down like the CW road of the particle accelerator, you lose like Heatwave, Captain Cold, but you lose loads of guys like that, like the Thinker and stuff as well. But they were all tied up in that. Like Captain Boomerang. What was it? I think that was Captain Boomerang. Was it? I think that's his name, the Australian one, the one that basically has the boomerang. But so you lose him as well. Like, you lose a lot of kind of decent ones because they all got affected by that explosion and turned into metahumans. So you lose a lot. You lose a lot of really, and a lot of poor actors would be out of a job.
Yep.
Again,
I mean, we would never have had Mark Hamill as the Trickster.
Yeah, which was basically.
From the original '90s series, as him as the Trickster, and then getting him back in.
Yeah.
Once that is good.
Yeah,
that is good.
It was so meta. It was brilliant. I loved it. And and then they bring it, and then they get Jay Garrick from another universe, obviously, to come into this, and I'm like, oh, please tell me they're gonna, and they've done it. They've got the 90s Flash now. Yes. Yep. I mean, I was over the moon when I saw that.
Aye.
Because people always say that, and like John Wesley Shipp is such a good actor as well, and he was a really good Flash. If nobody's seen that Flash series, I highly recommend you check it out.
God, I remember watching it on Sky One. I was like, this is the best thing ever.
I know everybody thought it was Smallville that had kind of kicked off that kind of DC series I saw, and so I'm like, amateurs. Nope. Go back to the Flash, you amateurs. It was the perfect blend of like 90s kind of cheese style, but it had enough.
The fact that it was only one series as well.
Yeah,
there was so much in it. So much.
You would think that there was so much more to it.
I know.
Well, so that was why I was kind of glad it got another wee kind of moment in the sun with the CW.
Aye.
It was like when they cast him as Barry Allen's dad. At first, I was like, nice wee homage, like because he played Barry Allen in that Flash series. That's nice. And then they kill him in the second series, and I'm like, I hate you all. I hate you all. Great.
And then they bring him back in the third series.
Yeah, and then they bring him back in the third series, but he's not officially Barry's dad. He's Jay Garrick. Which they teased in the sex series, like Garrick, that was my mother's maiden name. And I'm like, it's that, and you had him in the proper like the duds and the helmet. I was like, nice one. I was like, I like that. That's good. I'm okay with that. And then eventually to get him in like the proper kind of velour style suit. And I'm like, okay, we got there. We got there in the end. Just assume the writing's starting to go downhill now, but we got there in the end.
It was just sheer nostalgia seeing that when I was like, this is brilliant. Love it.
It's like when they done the Crisis on Infinite Earths. And you got to see Brandon Routh as Kingdom Come Superman. And
that was good. That was good.
That was just like redemption. He didn't need redeem because I thought he was a brilliant Superman. I was just the script and and everything else around it, and the fact that Kevin Spacey's now play Lex Luthor. Now you can't touch it with a barge pole. Which I think is crap for Brandon Routh. So the fact that he got that, and got a chance to revitalize his career as as Ray Palmer's Atom, which is brilliant.
I mean, they sort of teased.
Yeah,
the Brendan Roth with her going, he looks a bit like my cousin.
Aye. It's just a bit like my cousin. And I was like, nice Easter egg. Nice one. And then you get that, and because you never thought you would see Kingdom Come Superman.
No.
I mean, it was something I never thought I would see, and then because I was pretty much off the Arrowverse kind of ship by this point. Like the boys had been born, I was in full dad mode. There was no chance I was going to be able to catch up with all that content. It's like Sky One had Arrow, Flash, and Supergirl, but Netflix had Black Lightning, and E4 had Batwoman. So trying to juggle all that round, I was like, I struggled when they were all in Sky One.
Aye.
It's like with kids and that, there's no way in hell I'm going to do it. So when Crisis on Infinite Earths came out, I was like, right, I'm just going to need to wait and try and get like some sort of bootleg copy. And I won't have a clue about any of the other characters, but I just want to see Kingdom Come Superman.
Aye.
I just want to see Brandon Routh get that moment, and ironically get that moment in the sun, which obviously Kryptonian gives him his powers as the sun. I was like, I just want to see it. And oh my god, it was so well. See when he had Tyler Hoechling's Superman like by the throat,
just right by the throat. That's like
I was like,
good.
I was like, man, because Tyler Hoechling's like Superman is good. Well, I think he's definitely a good standout as well. But that was just like a mean moment of sit down, boy. I got this. It's like, have you had your own movie yet? No, you've not had your own movie yet, Superman. No. Don't waste my time. I was just like, nice one. Just worked so well. The only thing I do feel really bad about was remember the Legends of Tomorrow? When they did the pilot episode, and they'd done two versions of it. They'd done one where Arrow and the Flash were in it, and we never got to see that.
Nah.
Because it got redone, and it was like, right there, this is the one that's going ahead. You still had like little cameos, but it wasn't they were part of the story. And I'm like, I want to see that. Why is it nowhere? Why can't
Because they wouldn't have been able to continue Arrow and the Flash if they put them in Legends. So they would have to cancel those two because they wouldn't be there anymore.
Yeah, but in fairness, the only one I would have been gutted about with that one was the Flash. But because Arrow was starting to kind of go downhill at that point for me. Because it had season 1, great. Season 2, brilliant. Series 3, Series 4, Series 5, hey, we're back on track.
Yeah.
And then it was like Series 6. I can still go with this. I can still go. Okay, we're going downhill again. We're going down fast. Well, and yeah. And that's just kind of. I felt bad by that point.
It's like Series 7 did sort of start to die a bit. And it's like they know they've only got one more series, and a lot of the production people didn't really care.
Yeah,
anymore. We're ending it.
The thing I didn't like was Series 4, they kill Laurel. Spoiler alert. What they kill that Laurel, lads, and and everybody's like, "What the hell? You've killed her off. What the hell?" What? And they go, but then Earth 2, Laurel turns up. It's a bad version, but she's got the superpowers naturally. And then it's like, okay, we'll just kind of casually bring her in, and then we'll give her a little bit of a redemption, and then look, it's like she's never left. I'm like, weak move.
Yeah. The whole thing about giving her a redemption arc, it was not needed.
No, I didn't care. I did not care for it at all. It was just the fact that they established two kind of separate worlds, so to speak. Not like the Earth 2, Earth 1, okay, I think, but the show's established their own worlds. Arrow was more grounded, more gritty, more real, and it was going great. Flash, metahumans, crazy shenanigans. It was going great. So Arrow decides we got to go in because we're going to link them in. We have to start incorporating some of the metahuman stuff into it. Did not work.
No.
Adding the metahumans and the magic and all that kind of stuff, with season 4, does not work with a show like Arrow. It needed to be more grounded and stay in its lane.
Yeah.
So when they kill Laurel off, who is set up in this real world capacity, has been given a great character arc, has been given tech that can, naturally make her that version of the Black Canary, and was doing really well, to have it killed off and then just introduce a nice metaverse magic, already superheroed one to come into that side. Pointless. Completely pointless. Well, and then they're like, but we'll also get this actress in, and that's Dana Drake, and she's already got that cry, and then still bring Laurel in anyway.
I know.
Really? It's like that. I mean, that actress must have been like, am I a joke to you?
I know.
I felt so bad for her. I'm like, they tried to do everything. Well, and the fact that they so messed up Vigilante as well.
Oh God, aye.
They butchered his character completely. Well, because obviously you have the Adrian Chase thing in season 5, and you think, oh, Adrian Chase, that's maybe a vigilante. This could be quite cool. Oh wait, no, it's a name change.
Yeah.
He was fantastic as Prometheus.
Not
taking that away. It was fantastic, and Michael Dorn as the voice of Prometheus, was beautiful. But then everybody's like, okay, how are they going to play this for the vigilante? And she's Dana Drake's ex-partner, and they were romantically involved, and it's all the CW Dawson's Creek bullshit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
They have to fit it in somewhere.
Yeah. But did they have to take out Vigilante as a result?
Yeah, I know.
Don't get me wrong, they've made Vigilante the Deadpool of the John Cena Peacemaker verse, and I am all for that.
Aye.
Well, that's something where I was like,
Peacemaker.
I was like, was not expecting that, but I am okay with it. because of how that universe is turning out. But the way they done it with Arrow Vigilante, I was like, ugh. It was like how Arrow versus Deadshot, loved him. Thought he was
good.
Really good actor, really strong, but because they were doing Suicide Squad and Warner Brothers, they had to kill all them off because they were going to introduce Harley Quinn as well. They teased her, and then it was like, no, that ain't happening. Suicide Squad, all dead. You can have B-rate Suicide Squad, and then they get Will Smith, Deadshot. Not necessarily horrible, but just bad. I just didn't like him. I would have so preferred that the Arrowverse actor playing his Deadshot.
Yeah,
would have been so much better, because I don't think he would have done the whole with some kind of Suicide Squad. Because the way he done it was just so on the nose. I think that the Arrowverse one would have pulled it off a bit better. Like, so we're in some kind of Suicide Squad. Just me, not as kind of obvious. The writing still would have been shit because it was the writing. It was shit.
It was, yeah.
Well, it was just the way it was. It was cack. But I think he would have done a better job. But Will Smith, star power. It's the way it goes.
Although the Suicide Squad sort of redeemed it.
Yeah, definitely.
It was such a better film than the first one.
Yeah, much more solid. Well, and again, Idris Elba.
That's it. There we go. That's the key. Just get Idris Elba.
Idris Elba was basically like, Will Smith 2.0. And he did so much better. Then they had John Cena, who was surprisingly great.
I know.
I was like, I think Cena trying to be like a serious actor is not his route.
No,
I just don't think. I think he can pull off serious tones and serious elements, but having him in like a 6-part serial, like True Detective, wouldn't tune into that. I don't think he's got the chops for it.
No.
But that type of role where the guy's taking himself so seriously that it's actually funny, that he's totally nuts. Perfect role for him. And it was the same
for Peacemaker in general was just amazing. Everybody was just spot on, especially Robert Patrick.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That is genius casting.
What?
Nobody can play a white supremacist like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, again, we tie it back to Stargate Atlantis, and he was in the pilot episode.
That's right,
and he was he was like the original leader of that expedition, and then he gets killed by the Wraith. But even in that pilot, he was so damn good, just at what you need him to be, an absolute jackass. And then you get in the finale, it's like his pal turns up. And he's like, yep, he was a good friend of mine, and you admit to firing the shot that fucking killed him. So he gets attacked by a Wraith, but survives it. And then then says to him, is like, yeah, knowing him as well as I did, I understand why you shot him. And he's just like, I said everything I need to say. So it was just like, salute, and off he goes. And I was like, nice. It was a nice wee call back to him. Nice tie-in. But yeah.
I can't wait for Peacemaker season 2.
Yeah. Like, the only person that I could have thought could have played a better white supremacist Robert Patrick was Mitch Pileggi. So he played the Daedalus' captain in Atlantis. Right. Well, because he's played a white supremacist guy in Sons of Anarchy.
Oh god, that's right. So that guy,
and he was really good. So he's the only other one that I could have thought he could do it. But again, Robert Patrick for like casting. But they were all showed up by a CGI eagle.
Yep.
That's James. That's James Gunn.
And just the opening.
That opening.
It's like, it is the most ridiculous thing in the world, and yet as soon as you see it, you're like, I need to watch this.
But at the same time, see, if it was anybody else doing that show, bar James Gunn, you'd be like, no. Well, it's just, really, but he's saying,
I think there is somebody else who could do it, and that's Taika Waititi.
Yeah,
he could probably do it justice. because he's got the same mentality.
I think he would be more if it was going down the PG-13 route. I think James Gunn can adapt to a hard R.
Yeah.
I mean, what we do in the shadows has proven Taika Waititi can do like kind of more hard R stuff, but he's got this. I think he's more suited for the, like he would be the bridge to lead you in. Where it's like, oh, okay, watch a couple of his series and movies. Oh, I've got the style of humor, and here comes James Gunn's Peacemaker. Holy shit! But yeah, because it had all the James Gunn traits. Crazy, what banging soundtrack.
Yep.
Crazy parts you didn't expect. A CGI animal hating on Batman. A CGI animal stealing the show. What? Just that was all tied in brilliantly.
Aye.
Well, and taking someone from the WWE who you think can act and turn them into a mega superstar in the acting field. Yeah. Well, because Dave Bautista still stands by him. Well, and now John Cena's like, yep, I'll stick with him. That's cool. There's a sole reason, like, and you've seen that when obviously the whole thing happened with James Gunn getting fired, and Batista was like, I'm out.
I'm gone. See you later.
It's like, I'm done.
We need to get James Gunn back.
Yep. It was like, I'm done until he comes back. But I have a feeling that was all a ploy.
I think it was.
Because like you know what Disney's like when something happens, they stick to their guns.
They wanted to give him a pay cut. And he's like, no, I've made you so much, I'm not taking a pay cut. I'm like, well, on your way then.
Yeah.
And he's like, right, see you later. He's like, but nobody will do it. Nobody will do the job for that price. And the budget, they were giving him a shit budget as well. And he's like, he's like, fine, see you later. And then he walked away. And he's like,
went to Warner Bros.
I've other things to do. I'll go to DC. And he went to DC. And then they phoned him and said, nobody will touch it for this budget. So I told you. We'll give you double the budget for the first one. If you come back. So,
yeah. But I have a fear. I'm a big fan of, like, the conspiracy theory kind of stuff, as you know. Well, I just think that when everything came out about him, they probably just went, look, we're gonna have to sack you, but we're not officially sacking you. It'll be essentially a leave of absence. You can take another role somewhere else until the heat kind of dies down. And people are like, okay, let's get him back, and then if you still want to come back, you can come back in. And then he probably was like, okay, but when you're giving me shit, so if I do come back, I want you to double the budget.
Yep.
But so it all goes according to plan. Social media outrage, everybody's going nuts. Everybody's like, oh yeah, he's sacked. And everybody's like, oh no, what? So it's all going to plan. He joins DC. They're like, look what you've let go. Look what you've let go. So it all just plays perfectly. And it comes to that point, and they're like, right, you can come back, right? It's time to come back. You give me that budget. Oh crap, I forgot about that. Okay, double the budget. Deal. Okay, and he's back.
Yep.
Oh, it's forgiven.
The thing is, Disney put into their contracts for their directors that they can't do anything with Warner Brothers or DC for 10 years after they've worked with Disney.
Yep.
So he's the only one that has actually jumped between them.
Yep, definitely. But yeah, I think it was all. I'm a fan of the conspiracies, as you know, but that's my only conspiracy theory. We'll wait and see who picks that up. Well, if I get a cease and desist order for Disney or James Gunn, then you'll know that I've hit the money on the head. You just will like, okay.
I don't think James Gunn would do that. Disney definitely, but no James Gunn.
Yeah, I think James Gunn would be all right. I think he would just message on the sly going, look, I'm not saying that you're right, but if I did, then that's how it could play out.
I'm not saying you're right, but you're not wrong.
I'll just say hypothetically, you were wanting to make this into a parody film.
That's how it would be done.
Like a Quentin Tarantino, altering history, Hateful Eight kind of thing. Well, that could be mine. What the James Gunn conspiracy. That does sound good though. That sounds like a 60s kind of drama, doesn't it?
It does.
Really does.
Clint Eastwood as James Gunn.
Yeah, definitely. Right. This is we're just coming up with great ideas now. I think we're just finally getting to that stage of like we've just accepted this is an off the rails show. We're going with tangents. Why not? Why not? Let's just have some time away for the wife and kids and just
we love a good tangent.
we do. It's just something that comes into the show. Well, I think the writing was on the wall the second that they went Tails. Oh, it's a Flash, and I was like, oh fuck. Okay, the writing's on the wall here. We'll try, but we're just kind of in that zone. But you never know. People might. Well, we've made some good points, I think. For each other's arguments. We've had some good tangent nerd talk, which is desperately needed.
Always.
Yeah, because we have been going at the episodes kind of hammer and tong lately. So I think we just needed this one to kind of decompress and just let the guard down a little and have a bit of fun.
Yep.
I think it'll be one of the longest episodes to date anyway. So
I think so.
Yeah, I would say so. I we've been on for almost 2 hours.
Yep.
What if include kind of some of the editing breaks, it'll probably be a good hour mark. So yeah, I have to say, even though it's been a bit balls to the wall and a bit nuts, I've enjoyed it tonight, man. It's been good catching up and just
has been.
Well, metaphorically, in my case, letting the hair down. In your case, you could just take the ponytail out.
There you go.
Yeah, there we are. So we'll let the general public decide. We'll not make it based on our arguments. We'll just say, who do you think would win in a super fight between Sonic the Hedgehog and the Flash? Because I would be really interested to see these comments.
Aye, that'll be a good one.
Yeah, definitely. Well, the amount of abuse that I'll probably get will be unreal. Because apparently there is like a Super Tails and a Super Knuckles as well.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm like, don't know about their powers. I'm intrigued.
I think that's for some of the later games.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the ones that kind of where we bowed out by that point.
Yeah.
But one thing I was really surprised they never really did much with in the games, and that were the Chaotix crew. I loved them. Mm-hmm. They had great arcs in the comics as well, in the UK comics. Well, and I remember wanting to play Knuckles in the Chaotix crew game. I think it was on the Genesis at that point. But
I think it was Genesis.
Yeah, but we couldn't afford the Genesis. And I was like, yeah, well, that would have been the only reason I would have wanted a Genesis. So yeah. So we just had to wait and see. But yeah, if there was any way I could get a copy of that game and play it, I'd be over the moon. Well, man, it's been good to have a wee kind of we'll figure out what this kind of episode would be called on another date.
Aye.
But yeah, we'll still class it as a super fight. But yeah, I think it's just been more hanging out, chilling, ranting about stuff.
More of a discussion.
Talking bollocks, essentially.
As we do.
That's what we do. Well, we just normally do it in a more structured way. Now it's just bollocks.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Well, man, again, pleasure to talk to you as always. To everybody that's watched, I swear the other episodes are better. Check them out. We will be back with a guest format. Don't worry. But it was just more we just took the handbrake off. I think we just took the handbrake off for it. But worst comes to worst, it could always tie into that Mental Ginger show because it's just been us gabbing.
Aye.
Yeah. Well, so until next time, the Ginger League. He is super.
He is Ginge.
And we're out of here. Bye.